Hello and welcome to another edition of Adam's Music Box, where today I want to talk about some happy music, but under a sad circumstance, because I, like many, just found out that the multi-talented, prolific Rick Derringer has just died. And that, of course, is a very sad occasion. Now, Rick is one of those unique musicians who was equally comfortable in production, composition, and session work and sideman work as he was in being a front man and a major songwriter. He was someone who walked in basically every pair of shoes there is to wear in the modern music industry and did it all brilliantly, and everyone who ever worked with him only had amazing things to say. Now, his first big hit in terms of the public eye came in the mid 60s with his band, the McCoys, and this was the song Hang On Sloopy. Sloopy, hang on. You've heard it, I've heard it, everyone's heard it. If you wrote that alone, assuming that the contract, as many were at the time, didn't screw him, he could have been living off the royalties because that song has been licensed for commercials and movies and TV and streaming. And I even saw some TikToks of it the other day. But of course, that was just the beginning for Rick Derringer. He continued on with a solo career in the early 70s, and his great song, Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo, became anthemic. It's one of those songs where if you were to say, what is sort of the quintessential mainstream rock song of the 70s, there's a very strong case for that song. And it was around that time that he began a decades long collaboration with the equally talented and versatile Johnny and Edgar Winter, the two brothers there. He performed with both of them at various times, including on the quintessential Edgar Winter group album, They Only Come Out at Night. And that featured the great instrumental Frankenstein, or is it Frankenstein? I'm not sure. And it also had Free Ride, which has been covered by so many, licensed to so many movies, TVs. Again, just excellent stuff. And he was someone, I mean, not many people can say that there's a connection between Hang On Sloopy, one of the top pop songs of the mid 60s, and Steely Dan at their most Steely Dan-ish. But Rick Derringer is that connection because he played guitar on a track on the Gaucho album, the last of the original Steely Dan albums, before working on the Night Flight, Donald Fagen's sort of breakout solo album that kind of sort of continued where Steely Dan left off. He's worked with everyone. He's worked with Meatloaf. He's worked to make soundtracks for pro wrestling, WrestleMania, and all of that stuff. Todd Rundgren, Barbara Streisand, Ringo Starr. I mean, who's collaborated with Hulk Hogan, Ringo Starr, and produced the debut album of Weird Al Yankovic, and played with members of the Vanilla Fudge? He's really someone who did it all, and by all accounts, a really nice guy, which makes sense because in an industry as cutthroat as the music industry, you need to be pretty flexible and pretty nice to get those kinds of gigs, and pretty talented. And he, of course, covered all of those bases. I just want to check to see how old he was. 77. Yeah, a long life, could have, should have been longer, but a great outpouring of music across so many different bands, so many different experiences, sideman work, leading man work, songwriting work behind the scenes, soundtrack. He was involved in music licensing and technology, so innovative. Commercials, which is a huge element of the music industry, Christian music. The list just goes on and on. All around great guys. So rest in power, Rick Derringer, one of the best to ever do it. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.